Welcome to the Classy Career Girl podcast. I'm your host, Anna Runyon, founder and CEO of Classy Career Girl, one of Forbes' most influential career sites. This is a podcast for a community of women who want to turn their passions into work they love. You'll learn how to become happy, successful, and balanced with class, skill, and style. We believe that you can create your future. So stop delaying your great life. Go put yourself out there. You can have your great life and career right now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Classy Career Girl podcast. I am excited to go a little behind the scenes, share my story of starting Classy Career Girl and starting my career coaching business kind of to where we are today. So I haven't done a podcast episode like this one in a long time. I usually try and give tips and strategies and trainings. And today I realized just hearing my story and kind of some of the steps I took and realizing, yes, I was once where you are, wanting to grow a business on the side of a day job. And I just kind of wanted to go behind the scenes because it does feel so long ago and my life is so different now. And so I just want to make sure that you know my story and know kind of some of the steps I took back in the day when I was just starting my blog and just starting my business, because I think that will help you realize some of the small baby steps that you can take to achieve success in your goals and your dreams and completely change your life and fulfill the vision that you have for your life as well. So I'm calling this episode Motherhood to Career Coaching Success, How to Unleash Your Potential. And I hope that you see in my story how you can unleash your potential and how you can achieve those goals and those dreams. So behind the scenes, a couple new habits. I always like to give some little behind the scenes as we start new habits. It is the end of January, so I'm getting ready for February now. I'm about to look back at January, kind of look back at my wins and some things that worked well, what didn't work well. You guys know I love annual planning, so I'll look back at that annual plan. I'll look back at my 90-day plan. I'll use our free planner, so make sure that you get our 90-day planner at classycareergirl.com/free plan. And I'll use that to prepare for February. And I'll look back at my, some things, goals have changed, some strategies have changed, some of the actions I want to take have changed based off some of the actions that have happened in January and some things I've experimented with. So that's kind of where we're at in the planning process. I've also started to, this year, my goal was to start going to bed earlier, because I'm still up a lot in the middle of the night with our little ones. And of course, then when one kid sleeps, the other one wakes up with a bad dream or something. You moms know what that's like. And so I just decided this year that I'm going to start to try and go to bed at 9. Don't always make it, but that really is the goal. And I used to work late at night, and I used to work after the kids got in bed, or I used to watch Netflix or watch a movie. And I kind of just said, I don't really watch movies or TV anymore because my sleep is so important. And so instead, I now wake up earlier. So I try and get up at 5 so I can have that one. This morning I had a 5 to 6 hour by myself. And so that was amazing, right? Just having that quiet time. So that is a tip. That is a strategy I've used. It was really hard to stop the habit of staying up, because usually at nighttime was my quiet time, my only time alone, right? So I've kind of changed that to the morning, and it's working really well. I'm feeling really great. By the time the kids wake up, I feel great in the mornings instead of like being woken up by kids. And if you're a mom, you know what that's like, right? You feel like stressed and unorganized and what's happening with the day, and they want you to do this and that. And so I'm excited with this new habit. Wanted to share that as we talk about motherhood to coaching success and how motherhood impacts your career. And so that's kind of what we're going to talk about today, how motherhood really did impact my career. And it was a pivotal moment in launching this career coaching business. Before motherhood, before I had my daughter in 2014, for 8 years, I worked as a corporate consultant, worked at a company called Booz Allen Hamilton, very much in the corporate world. I was doing a lot of traveling for work, which in the beginning was like an amazing career. I was so excited to travel to Charleston and Washington, D.C. It was like once a month. So I would leave on Mondays and come back on Fridays. And, my company paid for my hotel and travel, and I was able to get some first class flights here and there. And I just felt My company paid for my food and room service. And in the beginning, I loved it. But as the 8 years went on, I was like, this is a little stressful. This is not going to work if I'm a mom someday. So I started to kind of change my vision and change my plan of what I was going to do. I started to get a little stressed, a lot of burnout. There was some changes within the company, a lot of changes within my clients because I was doing consulting for the government. I used to manage a Navy shipbuilding program, like $90 million, and wore suits every day and worked with the Navy. And so internally, though, kind of stressed out. Um, Towards the end there, we were trying to start having a baby and we were not having much luck. I had some miscarriages. We had to go through IVF, which did not work that first time. It didn't work either time, but that's another story. So it was just a very tough time towards the end of there. And that's when I started to build this dream of doing something that was a little bit more flexible, gave me a little bit more freedom so that someday when we did finally achieve success and have kids, I was going to be able to be there for them. And I think that's what those 2 years kind of were for us. Actually, it was longer than 2 years where we were trying to have this first child in there. I just would work on my business anytime I could. I would work on Classy Career Girl because it was like I poured myself into my business because it was the one thing that was going right and my personal life was not working. So my business like was exciting and it allowed me to achieve my passion and pursue something a little bit different from the corporate job. I was doing finance in my day job, and so at night I would come home and write this blog and could use more of my creativity. And I really chased the vision of where I wanted to be in the future. I knew there was something better in my future because I was miserable in my day job. And I would work on my blog on weekends and at nights. And I committed at that point. This was about in 2013, when we had tried everything and it just didn't work. I kind of put motherhood aside. I put those dreams aside and I decided I'm going to get healthy again for myself. I'm going to pursue me. I'm going to pursue. I applied to get this job as a professor at DeVry University. So I was working at that time, I was working part-time at my day job because I had actually asked to go part-time when I was having these miscarriages and I was super stressed with my clients and my boss, and things weren't going well. So I went part-time and then I got a job as a professor on the side. So I kind of was juggling two different jobs while also doing my business on the side. And I decided to start hosting events in San Diego where we lived at that time. And I started to do speaking at networking events. So around that time, if you were part of a professional association in San Diego, I probably spoke at your event because I made the rounds speaking at all the women's organizations in San Diego at that time. And I was also speaking in corporate at companies. I was on the San Diego news at that time as well. This was all on the side of the day job. And I was doing monthly webinars. My one-on-one coaching clients were picking up as well. So I was doing webinars in the evening. 5:30 p.m. was kind of like my magical time because that was 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And it was after work. And then I would have coaching clients in the evenings or on the weekends as well. And the monthly revenue really started to increase there pretty slowly. And it was funny, I actually made a goal and a plan with my husband because my recurring monthly revenue was starting to increase because I had a lot of these one-on-one clients, but I knew I really couldn't take any more one-on-one clients. And so I told my husband, like, we made a plan together because we work as a team. This was before he was working at Classy Career Girl, but we made a plan that if I could get my revenue, I think it was at that time to $5,000 monthly revenue, generating monthly that much revenue, then I could quit my job. And so that became the goal. And I hit that number in August of 2013. And we decided in December of that year, I was going to quit my job. And the next month, I was pursuing this. I created my own event in San Diego. So the next month in September, I was just all in on my business. I like literally didn't even think about becoming a mom anymore or like fertility, any of that stuff. I just put everything into my business. And then September is when I got pregnant. And so I got morning sickness. We kind of had to I kind of lost some clients there because and I was planning to do this big launch of a group program, and I kind of put everything aside because I had morning sickness and wasn't able to quit that December. But I said, by the time the baby comes, I'm going to take maternity leave and I'm not going to go back. Of course, I didn't tell my boss that, but that was really my plan is I'm going to do the best I can at my day job. I always recommend, give everything to your day job. When you're at your day job, you give everything. Even though I'd say I was miserable and I hated my job, I gave everything. That's why they didn't want me to go when I went part-time. They did not want me to leave because I gave everything to that job. I gave everything to my clients. I worked so hard at that day job. And then when I left the office, I turned on the entrepreneurship podcast and I became an entrepreneur. I became a career coach in my nights and my weekends. And that's really how I thought of it. I put that consulting role to the side and I changed kind of who I was. And because I was pursuing that vision of where I wanted to be. And then when I got pregnant, the same thing happened. It just reinforced that I needed to make this business happen because now I had a little one, right? I really could not travel every week. I really could not go to that job and leave my daughter that we had tried so hard to have. She was basically our little miracle. And so very emotional at that time, but it all happened. We had our long-awaited baby in June of 2014. And it really sparked that realization, okay, now I need to leverage my time better. I need to increase my income with less work. I can't run all over San Diego doing speaking events because that's really how I was relying on networking and building my business is these in-person connections. And so I had to bring my business online. So I had to start over a little bit and figure out when I was going to work. So we had my daughter, and at 6 weeks, I called HR and told them, I'm not coming back. And I was so nervous. I remember it was August 1st, which is funny because it's actually August 1st, my second daughter's birthday. I was so nervous for that conversation, so much buildup to tell them I just wasn't coming back. And I'll never forget that conversation because the HR person who knew me, when I told her, she was like, that's so awesome. Like she was super excited for me and my business. And it was not the conversation that I had dreamed up and worried about for like weeks upon end. It was like she wanted to do the same thing. And I realized later a lot of people at my job were jealous and wanted to do the same thing as well too. And so a few months later, kind of had a breakdown point. If you're a mom, you probably have the same point where you realize I'm not superwoman. I can't do everything. And I definitely had that moment because I thought with quitting my day job, I'd have more time so I could take care of my baby and run a business. I thought, I was a new mom. I thought I could do it all. And I went to this networking event for entrepreneurs. I remember my mom came with. It was at a hotel in Los Angeles. It was with Allie Brown. She had this business group long time ago I was part of. And I'll never forget one of the women at the event, she asked, I said, I'm really struggling to take care of it. At the time, all my daughters have had tongue ties. And so breastfeeding in the beginning is always terribly hard. And they lose weight. And then at that time she had lost so much weight and the doctors were like not happy with me at all because anyways, long story. She had a tongue tie. We had it clipped. It grew back. And so we had to get it laser removed later on. But within that period of time, I didn't realize it, but she wasn't getting milk. And so I was just really struggling I was pumping and I was feeding and we were trying to do it all. And then I was trying to grow this business as well. And I never forget one of the women at the event, she goes, so what are your hours? Like, what are your working hours? And I didn't know. I didn't have an answer to that question. And that was like a light bulb moment. I thought of this yesterday too, because I was like, I need to know what my hours are. I was taking calls with the baby on my lap nursing, and we had daily doctor trips and we're weighing the baby all the time. And at the time, my husband was still at his day job, and so he wasn't around. And I was just trying to do it all, and I didn't have hours. And I came home and I had the conversation with my husband, like, I need hours. I need to have work time because right now I'm all over the place. I don't have work time. My baby needs me all the time. And this is my dream. I've dreamed about this day for so long, for years, and it's here, and I'm about to give up. I can't do it all. I can't do it all. And then I'll never forget that conversation. I know exactly where we were. And he basically said, well, I think it's time for for me to consider, leaving my job because your business, like you're doing such a great, he's so supportive. Um he's like, you're doing such a great job. You're so close, right? You just need a little bit more time and you can really explode this thing. Like he saw how hard I worked over the years on the side of my day job. And he saw, obviously, has seen the income increasing, right? So he knew that we could generate the money, and if the money that we needed to support our family, we were just so close, right? Um, so he's like, if I quit my day job, which he wasn't super happy in his day job, if I quit my day job, I can help in the business and I can help you with systems and operations, like a lot of, I can take stuff off your plate so you can focus on, marketing and sales. And then I can also watch our daughter with you. And like he missed our daughter too. He was in the same boat as me of struggling for years to have kids. And our baby was finally here. He wanted to spend time with her too. He's an amazing dad. So we made the plan in about, that was in September. So in about 90 days, by the end of the year, he was going to quit his day job too. So just a few months after I quit, he was going to quit as well too. So that really was the catalyst for, okay, I really got to push here because my husband is quitting his day job. This classy career girl needs to support our family. And so that really was the leap, quitting my day job after 6 weeks of maternity leave. That's all I had. And so I just knew that I wanted to have more time with my daughter. And so that's when we quit. And then I was able to put a little bit more focus into the business, just because my boss really was at that time holding my hands tied behind my back. I felt really scattered. I was always kind of on call. I never knew when I was going to get a call from my boss. I never knew. Sometimes I got very angry calls from some of our clients who were very, very disrespectful, which, side note, inspired me to write a book back in 2013, 2014 called The Professional Woman's Guide to Managing Men, because I worked with a lot of men and dealt with a lot of things as a woman back at that time. And so really this was my journey to get myself unstuck, and that helped me to help thousands of other women do the same as well. Throughout that time, this was even before I quit my day job, one of the first courses I made was called the Get Unstuck Bootcamp, the Get Your Career Unstuck Bootcamp. And it really was like a step-by-step plan for overcoming obstacles. And it was the plan of how I overcame my obstacles because I didn't really know what I should be doing with my career and with my life. And even though, I got good grades, I went to great college and did well, I graduated and still was like, I don't know what I want to be when I grew up. Like, no one helped me figure that out. I didn't figure it out for myself. I didn't realize, there was a lot of things I needed to explore, which I did after college. I did on my own through internships and work experiences and jobs. And I figured it out, obviously. But I had to really figure out, like, what is my purpose? What is my vision? What are my interests? What are my favorite skills? What is my calling? And that's why I've put together a whole What's My Calling College, which is in my class membership, that are all the things I learned to figure out what my true calling is. What is my ideal career? And that's what I love doing more than anything, is helping people identify what that ideal career business is for them. Because if you have success identifying what your ideal career path is or business path is, then you're going to have a successful business. You're going to have a successful career. And that has to come before resumes. And so the big mistakes I was seeing as I was doing a lot of interviewing in my job, I was seeing people who had great resumes, but you could tell they weren't really interviewing for an ideal career, what they really truly wanted. Their passion did not show during that interview. And so that really, truly has always been my passion. That's where our mission came from, career fulfillment for all women. That is the overall mission of everything that we do. And it really all came from my journey figuring out what is career fulfillment for me. I didn't know, and I had to figure it out. And so that really was the birth of the Get Unstuck Bootcamp, which we teach still today in What's My Calling College. That was the first course in 2012. I launched that first course before work. I sent out an email, and I was at my company. I was in my cubicle, and I checked PayPal, and I saw an order came through while I was like sitting at my day job on my lunch break. And so that was really an exciting time. That was the first order came in. And then I had a total of 4 people in that course. I want to say this is like 2012. So it was on the side of my day job. But that was the start of everything, just putting that out there. I didn't have it created yet. And so I knew, though, that with that first person that bought, that I was going to do this. I was going to create this course because someone bought it. If one person bought it, then other people are going to want it too. People want this. And so I finally created, we did the training calls live. So people joined them live, and I was able to answer their questions. And then from there, from those 4 people, then I started one-on-one coaching after that, because I had this framework. I had this system that I had built. I'd taken my experiences and what I had learned, taught it to other people. And now not only did I have the course that people could go through by themselves, but now they could walk with me through this as a coach, right? And that basically has turned into Love Your Career Formula, which I coach people on. And we have now our certified career coaches at Classy Career Girl. They help people also through Love Your Career Formula as well. So it's really exciting to have a system that I created way back then that this course started from, and then to see it just kind of evolve over time as well. And so it's really been this chain reaction of opportunities. So many unexpected success stories that followed just that first action, that first sale, putting it out there and seeing the interest. And then from there, we've created more courses to working with individual clients. That created speaking engagement opportunities, getting featured in prestigious publications like Forbes, Wall Street Journal. It turned into one-on-one coaching. Like, that's really where I realized that I could help people individually and get paid for it. So no more just helping people with their resume for free. I could do this as my job. I could start to really bring in that income and sell my offer, and then really bring my business online too, and less relying on those in-person networking events that I was doing. There's so much opportunity online. I just sent out an email about this today because last week's episode was about social media, but you guys have so much opportunity that I did not have. When I'm talking about these early days, I did not have Zoom. I did not have Instagram. I could not go live on Facebook. TikTok was not around. Like, oh, there's so much opportunity for you to click a button and get in front of your target audience. And so I've been super excited about online media and social media, and I'm always learning and exploring about how to use that, because I know what it's like to do the speaking circuit. I know what it's like to rely on coffee chats and in-person events and proposals, and working with people individually and meeting people outside of the house. That as a mom now of 3, I can travel the world and run my business. And so I'm so glad that I've done it both ways, so I can help people both ways, but it's also been so amazing to be able to build this business that's location independent, that doesn't rely on a physical location. So that is the gist of the story. That is the beginning of this career coaching business, the beginning of Classy Career Girl, how I made the leap. And really, the next leap is your leap. The next leap is launching your career coaching business. The next leap is helping people and impacting people. And you can use these same Love Your Career Formula systems that I created and be able to help people and impact people as well. And so I have a special workshop that is happening. I haven't officially announced it, but I do want to share it with you guys on the podcast here today. It is a live workshop that is happening on March 12th at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern. It's called The Path to 10K Months, Creating Freedom in Your Career Coaching Business, How to Go from No Clients to Booked Out with me, Classy Career Girl. And I'm excited. It is a workshop. It's a 90-minute workshop. I'm sure we're going to go way longer than the 90 minutes, and we'll do lots of Q&A, and it's going to be so fun. But we're also going to have a week of coaching, a week of opportunity to ask me your questions, to have me review your offers, your bios, whatever that you need. And in the workshop, that's what we're going to go through. We're going to really get you set up to start selling and booking clients. So there's a lot of steps that I teach our career coaching clients and certification. I teach them what they must do before they even start selling, before they get a practice client. Like there's these basics that people miss when they're launching their career coaching business, like creating their elevator pitch or getting their tech set up, their calendar, their application, their bio, figuring out their ideal work week, their calendar, figuring out their best buyers, figuring out their pricing, what their revenue goals are and what products and offers they're going to sell. All of those things we're going to do during this Become a Career Coach workshop. So head on over to classycareergirl.com, www.classycareergirl.com/coaching workshop to get in on the early bird bonuses before they go away. You definitely want to join us. I am super excited. I hope that this has been helpful just to kind of see behind the scenes. Very different than my normal, here's 3 steps to blank, but I hope you see the journey and the background and the hard work and the persistence and the courage and the never giving up and the consistency. There's so much here throughout this time. I've seen so many people fail. I've seen so many businesses end, stop. So many of my competitors have disappeared that I know, but you don't, like were around and are no longer around. And so I think this is so important. Like if you can't fail, if you never give up. And so I'm not failing because I'm never giving up. And it's an up and down battle. It's an up and down hill. There's 3 babies in that time period since I started since that first baby in 2014. I had another baby in 2018 and another one in 2021. And so each one is just a little bit of a different rocky time, learning more things. And so I'm excited for this coaching workshop to put it all together and really simplify everything so you can get started a lot faster than me and make progress a lot faster than me and build an awesome, profitable, scalable, freedom-based, flexible business that's location independent much faster than I did. So I will see you on March 12th. Get signed up and I'll see you next week.